So in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up and run ads on Google. We're going to go through step by step, showing you how to create your first campaign, how to find keywords and thinking about your target audience. And then I'll show you how to create your first ad on Google's platform, whether you are doing Google search ads or display ads or ads on YouTube. There is a very large selection of types of ads and ways that we can run these ads on Google's network. So Google Ads feels very confusing and intimidating to a lot of people. And my hope is that by the end of this video, you'll realize that this is something that you can do as well. I've been running ads on the platform for over a decade. I've seen their ads platform change over that time, but I really have a lot to share with you here today. So I hope that you will find this to be valuable. So let's just go ahead and just jump into it right now. So first things first, we're going to make sure that we go to Google's ads platform here. So I'm on business.google.com. I'll leave a link to this down below if you want to follow along and create your account with me as we go. The first thing, of course, you're going to need to have a Google account set up. So I'm going to click on Start Now. And what we're going to be doing in this first step is creating our first campaign on Google Ads. And it's really my goal here in this video that I'm going to end up saving you money, hopefully, or saving you a lot of headache or mistakes that I've made in the past, even if it's just like one tip or pointer that I throw in here that's potentially going to really help you out a lot. So let's start off with creating our first campaign. I'm going to fill out my business name. We're going to put in our website, and then we will click on next here. Now, it's also important to know that Google, their ads platform, they have different pages sometimes that they'll show you. So sometimes if you're following along on this tutorial and you don't see the same page that I have, they just do that sometimes, but it's going to be all the same at the end once we go through their flow here. So let me put in our business name. For this, I'm going to do Santrel Media, which is our marketing agency. I'm going to add our website. And if you don't have a website, you can put in your business phone number or your app download page as well. Then I'm going to go ahead and click on next. Okay, so Google is trying to make this as easy and simple as possible for us to get our first campaign set up. And so on this next page, they've already filled out all this information about us. So they already know what's on it and they know what we talk about on that website or what the purpose of it is. And so you can certainly, delete this or add to it and modify this to really be specific to your business. And this isn't going to be like super important right now. We can change all of this later as well. And so, if I was really running an ad, I would probably modify this a bit and make it more specific of what my goals are for the campaign and what I want Google to know about me. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to just click on next here because this information looks good enough. This is where we're going to be able to link our YouTube channel, our app, our Google business profile, or our phone number. I would recommend doing all of these. Now, if you don't have a Google business profile, I just made a video about how to set up a Google business profile. This is a really great thing to have for your company so that people can leave reviews, so that people can find your business. And it's really easy to do, and it's free to set up a Google business profile. So I would recommend doing that. So feel free to add any of these accounts here that you want to link into it. It's just going to make it easier later on down the road once we start running our first ad. So I'm going to skip this for now just because this is a tutorial, but I wanted to show you that. Now this is going to get pretty important here because now we're looking at the goals for our campaign. So look, everyone's going to have different goals for running Google Ads, depending on the type of business that you have. So let's just run through some of these here. Purchases. This is mainly going to be for people who are running some type of e-commerce store. So maybe you have a Shopify store and you're selling physical products or even digital products or services. Your goal is going to be getting people to buy your product. And then we have other types of businesses like if you really want leads. For example, if you're a marketing agency or a landscaping company or a plumbing company and you just want to get people, you want to get leads, you want to get their information so that you can give them a phone call or shoot them an email, that's going to be what your goal is there. And then phone call leads as well. And then there's other types of ads that we can be running. Maybe you want to get page views, you want to get some notoriety. That's going to be your goal there, kind of going on impressions or on brand awareness. And if we click on see more, we have other options as well for very specific things that we're looking for. Like if we want people to get directions for our business or we want signups for a newsletter. So here's all the options that we have. Now, for me, for this tutorial, my goal is going to be I want to get leads for my marketing agency, right? I want people to pay us to help them run ads, for example. Okay, so what I'm going to do is my goal is going to be I want people to submit a lead form. Don't worry though, if you have different goals, this tutorial is still going to be relevant to you. This is just one of the slight details here. So we're going to enter a URL that when someone actually reaches out and they submit that lead form that they're going to end up on. So I can create a custom domain on my website that it can send people to, sort of a thank you page or like a checkout page or something like that after they do that. And you can see that like when we click on purchases, where do we want them to go after they complete a purchase? We can decide that here. So we're going to go with that here. And once we have chosen that, we're going to click on next. All right. And so if you don't have a specific landing page that you're sending people to after they fill out a form, you can also have the option of setting this up manually using a code after we create our first campaign. So I'm just going to select that for now because I want to show you guys the rest of the important stuff when it comes to running ads on Google's platform. So I'm going to do that and then I'm going to click on next. Okay, now we are in probably the most important part of the video here, and I really want you to pay attention, okay? Because right now, Google, they're trying to just have AI run ads for you, and I want to just tell people to be a little bit cautious on this, because what we're actually going to do is we're going to click on this right here. Now, if you don't see it, it's okay. You can still go through the ads flow that they're sending you through. But right now, what Google's trying to get us to do is they want us to run ads on search, on YouTube, on display, and basically wherever Google AI thinks it's best to run your ad. But one of the biggest things that I've learned from running ads over this past 10 years is that you really want to hone in on a specific type of ad, get good at that, and then you can branch out into running other types of ads. So probably the reason why you came to this video is because you wanted to learn about Google search ads, right? When people think of Google ads, they're thinking of, let me just show you, for example, most people are thinking of when someone searches on Google and you're showing up as an ad, right? This is the traditional Google ad, and this is the one that I think most people should start with, is Google search ads. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do here. Right now, Google has us in this thing, if you see up in the upper left corner, in their called Performance Max campaign. And I just think it gets really messy for people when they're like having Google AI run ads and it's going on all these different platforms like YouTube, and it's running display ads on the side of random websites. So what I suggest doing is we're going to click on this right here to view other campaign types. All right, so you can see these different types of ads here. We're going to stick with search ad right here for this video, and then we're going to click on next. Okay, so now that we've decided we're doing Google search ads, let's get this ball rolling here. And we're going to learn about keywords and how to target keywords, and like there's some good information I'm gonna give you here, okay? So what they've done is they've pulled from our website, because I put that in the beginning, santrelmedia.com. So it knows kind of what we're about, and it's suggesting some keywords here for us that we can get started with. Now, I'm going to delete some of these because I don't want to run ads for, e-commerce hosting or website building. I want to run ads for my business, which is a marketing agency, right? So let me show you something really important. So for keywords, let's say that we just type in something like marketing agency Philadelphia, okay? So now anything that someone searches that is anywhere related to a marketing agency in Philadelphia, we might show up in Google Ads when someone searches for that, right? So we can look up marketing agency Philadelphia and we can see some of the results here. We could end up showing up as the first option as a sponsored result when someone looks that up. Now there's also these business ads. I'll show you how to do that, but that is something that I think could be very valuable. But when someone looks for this, it could be anything related to this. This is like the general idea of marketing agency Philadelphia. All right, so now what I did for the second line to show you as an example here, I put them in quotation marks. And so what the quotation marks do is it basically tells Google that you want to show up in search results that have the words ads agency and Philadelphia. So it kind of narrows it down a bit, and it tells Google that when you have those quotation marks, you're looking for those specific words. They don't necessarily have to be in that order, but those specific words are the ones that you're targeting. And then the last option here is when we put it into brackets. And when you put it into brackets, that is going to be a very, very specific exact wording that someone types in order for your ad to actually show up on Google. And so it looks like they do have, just to show you a little bit better here, you can see that the keyword without any quotations or brackets is a broad match. So anything somewhat related to it, you're going to show up on Google Ads. Those quotations is a phrase match, so it could be any mix of those words in any order, but still matching that phrase. And then the brackets here are going to be an exact match. So if I do all brackets, for example, it would have to be people searching specifically marketing Philly that exact way. They would have to type that into Google for my ad to show up. And there's a variety of reasons why you would want to use brackets or quotations or just general broad things as well. So I would recommend going through this and filling out a number of these different keywords, because you want to test a lot of them, because you'll find that some keywords are going to be more expensive, or some keywords are going to be less expensive when you're actually running the ad. And we'll talk more about that later when we look at the costs of everything for running ads. But I would recommend filling out your keywords, put at least 6 to 10 keyword lines in here related to what you're trying to advertise for when someone's searching on Google. All right, so I filled out a handful of keywords. I'd probably do this more, but this is just a tutorial here, so I won't go as in depth for the keywords. And you can always change these. You can go back and change them later. So don't overthink it too much, but just think about what people might be searching for in order for them to find you on Google Ads. Okay, now we also have Google AI generating keywords for us. Let's just see what they have here, because they might have some good ideas for us. And it looks like their ideas were terrible. So, okay, now let's talk about locations, languages, audience, and networks. This is going to be very crucial for running your first ad. Now, what I want you to get away from this video is that when you're thinking about locations and running your ads, I want you to realize that the broader your ability to run an ad in, the cheaper it's going to be. Versus on the flip side, if you want to run your ad in a specific place, it's going to be a lot more expensive. So you want to keep this in mind, because if you are like an e-commerce business and you're selling items on like Shopify and you can sell it to anywhere in America, I would recommend running your ad all over the country, because it's going to be a lot cheaper versus if you're running a Shopify store and you just want to specifically run ads in like Illinois or like in Chicago, it's going to be a lot more expensive. And the reason for that is because as you narrow down your potential audience or your location, there's just going to be more competition for those ads. And it's naturally going to make your ads more expensive, because the way that Google Ads works is that it's an auction basically. So you're bidding against other businesses to have your ad show up at the top. And that's how you win ads basically. So every time an ad gets run and every time someone clicks on an ad, you're bidding against other people who are buying ads. And I don't want to get too into the weeds and complicate it there, but you can see that if you are narrowing it down, you're trying to run an ad in like a very specific county or a very specific city, it's going to be a lot more expensive. Now, for some people that's important, like, because if I'm running a marketing agency, I only want to be doing jobs maybe for local businesses because I want to meet them in person, right? So maybe I have to run the ad in Pennsylvania. So decide on this for your location, specifically where you want to be running your ad. So for me, I'm actually going to do a custom location, because for the marketing agency, we really want to run ads in Pennsylvania. Maybe we want to do it in New Jersey, but we don't want to do Delaware. So when we're doing this, it'll show us the potential reach that we have. And then you can do include, exclude, or nearby. So like, let's say that for some reason, I don't want customers in Delaware. Maybe there's like a legal reason or some other type of reason. Maybe like I know I've friends who have tow trucks and like they can't go into other states. And so there's no point in running an ad in another state where maybe you're not licensed, right? So you would want to go and exclude those places that you don't want to be running your ad in. So now I have my ad that's going to be running in New Jersey and in Pennsylvania. And I can do specific places as well. Like I want it to be in Allentown, Pennsylvania, right? And so you can get as narrow as you want depending on your business. So once we have our location set up and we've decided where we're going to be running our ad, then we're going to look into languages as well. Now, for me, for my agency, I don't speak any other languages, and so I'm probably not going to do that. I will say, just from a business perspective, sometimes just running an ad in a different language is so much cheaper, and you can get clients who are speaking like Polish or something, and there's nobody else running an ad for marketing agency in Philadelphia that's in Polish, and you can get like really good returns on that. But that's a whole nother topic for another day. All right, and then we have audience segments. So this is going to be thinking about the type of potential customer that you might have and what they might be interested in. This helps Google to just kind of serve your ad to the right people. And so we can search for specific things, like maybe we want to run our ad only to women for whatever reason it might be, depending on your business. Maybe 80% of your customers are women, so you only want to run your ad to women. Or maybe you want people who are interested in a specific sport or a specific hobby. These are all different things that you can do. So we can decide, who are they? Are these married people? Are they single? Are they college educated? Are they not? Do they own a home or not, right? If we have a home insurance company and we're trying to run ads for it, we don't want to be running ads for people who rent, right? That doesn't make any sense. Now, keep in mind with this, all of these things are going to narrow down your potential audience, which is going to drive up the price as well. So only select these things if you really feel like it's an important part of your ad that you'll be running, okay? So like if we're running an ad for a university, well, we don't want to be running that for, people who have no interest in going to university, right? So you can go through here, toggle through each one of these, make sure that none of them apply to you. Maybe they do. You can select those. We can choose what their hobbies are, what their interests are. Maybe they're really interested. Most of our customers are interested in news and politics or sports and fitness. We can choose all of those things here as we go through this, okay? And then we have observation or targeting. This is the setting for our campaign. So if you're targeting, this is going to be when you select these options, it's going to be targeting those specific people. Observation is going to not actually narrow down the reach of your campaign. It's just going to have the option to adjust the bids depending on the interests of those people or the demographics of those people. That's more of a detail that you probably don't really need to know right now for your first ad that you'll be running. And then we also have Google Search Partners Network. So this is going to be showing on other websites when people are searching for terms that are relevant to ours. Now, I'm probably not going to do this because I really just want to do Google ads. I want to do Google search ads when people are looking me up, okay? So I'm going to deselect this here from Google Search Partners and from Google Display Network. I know that they do recommend that, but I can always add that in later. So I'm going to deselect those for now. So I'm going to click on done here, and that's going to be our settings for our first campaign. So once we've decided on all of this, now I'm going to click on next. Okay, so we've gone through creating our first campaign. Now we are going to create our ad. We're going to decide how our ad is going to show up. So this is an important step. We want to think about the wording. We want to think about the places where we're sending people to, which website we're sending them to. So let's go through this here, and I'm going to show you how to make this first ad. So the first thing, we're putting in our final URL. The final URL is essentially where you are sending the people to. When they click on your ad, where do you want them to go to? So it's probably going to be a specific page of your website, or a specific, app or landing page or form for people to fill out. So we're going to decide what that's going to be, and then we're going to start filling out our headlines. Okay, so people ask me all the time, how do I decide what words do I use when I'm making an ad? And my suggestion to you is don't try to reinvent the wheel. And so, what I've done always is just look at what other people are doing and then use that as inspiration, especially if it's in a different place. So for example, if I'm running a marketing agency in Philadelphia, maybe I want to look up marketing agency in Los Angeles and look at the ad results and just see what shows up, because sometimes you'll get some really good inspiration. Now, I'm not saying that you should copy other people's ads, but what you can do is you can just use it for inspiration. So we are ninjas in marketing. That's a really interesting, line. That's very fascinating. And I can go and just look at similar businesses in other cities, right? And these here are all ads for marketing agencies in Syracuse, New York. And, I might get some really good ideas for the copy or for the headlines that I could potentially use. Of course, not stealing anyone's particular, specific wording, but it's really great for inspiration. So I'm going to go back, and after I've done some research, I've thought through some potential headlines or things that I can get in the front, then I'm going to start filling those ads. So you can put in up to 15 different headlines. That's going to be these big blue letters here that are going to pop up. Each one of those is a headline. And what Google will do is they will sometimes try putting these different headlines in various different orders as they're running your ads. And this can actually be a pretty good thing, because then you can, see what word or what phrase is like the best one to lead with. And I always recommend, tweaking and continuously iterating to find the best wording and the best copy. So one of the biggest things that I've learned in marketing is that really the strategy for running ads is that you want to just put something out there, and then you continuously start tweaking it and you start modifying it. And then we do something called split testing or A/B testing, where we'll run the original ad and then we'll run a slight variation of that ad. We'll see which one does better. Then once we find one that does better, we'll then take that and we'll do the same thing. We'll tweak it again and we'll run those again and we'll see which one does better. And you continuously improve. So every time you're doing this, maybe your ad is getting 5% better every time. Over time, you end up with a really, really good ad. Okay, so you can add all of your headlines in there. You don't have to have all 15. You can put in just a couple if you would like. And then we want to fill out our description as well. So the description is going to be these words down here in the smaller font. So you're going to fill out your descriptions for what you're looking to advertise for. And then you can also add site links. So you see these buttons down here. You can have people go directly to a different page other than the main blue button up here. And you can do that with the site links right here. And you can add, if you want to have like the About Us page or templates or something else, you can just add those in custom for yourself if you want to give people multiple different options of things that they can click on, right? All right, so once you've decided what your first wording is going to be for your ad, we're going to click on next. So now we're going to be setting a bid strategy. This is going to be deciding how much we're spending for our ads. Okay, so what do we want to focus on? We can focus on conversions, or we can focus on clicks or impression share or conversion value. For most people, you're just going to be focused on, hey, is this ad getting me new customers? Is this getting me leads? Is it getting me sales? And so this is what I'm going to stick with here. Now, I'm also going to select this box because I do want to set a target cost per action. Now, I'm going to do this because I already know like how much is a new customer worth to me. And so I know that, for example, if you're running a marketing agency, maybe the most you want to spend for each new lead that you're getting is maybe call it $20 per lead. I'm just making that number up, but you might decide you only want to spend a certain amount per lead or per sale or per click that you're getting, right? So the CPA is the cost per acquisition. And an acquisition, in most cases for Google, is going to be when someone clicks on your link, okay? So our cost per action here, all right? So maybe I want to set that at $5. You also don't have to do it. You can deselect this if you would like, okay? But I'm going to set mine at $5 and I'm going to click on next. And now we're going to be setting our budget for our campaign. I have seen so many people spend way too much money right off the bat with Google Ads. What I suggest doing is start very small, because your first ad, even if you spend a lot of time on it, realistically, your first ad's not going to be very good. And there's going to be things that you can improve upon. So the whole purpose of running your first ad is really just to test it and to see how it performs and if it's worth putting more money into. So for our budget, look, Google, they're always going to tell us, look, spend all this money. They want us to spend $93 a day. What's that? $2,500 a month. On our first ad iteration, no, we're not going to do that. I'm going to set a custom budget, daily budget of maybe $25. Okay. So this is going to cost me $175 a week. You can do this a lot lower as well. It's estimating that we might have about 61 people per week clicking on our link, which is a conversion for us. And so that might get us some new customers. Okay. But I'm going to start small. I'm going to see if the ad's paying off, and then I can dump a lot of money into it. Don't spend too much money right off the bat. man, I've seen people spend like $10,000 on their first Google ad and it doesn't convert. And it's like, well, you should have spent $100. You can learn the same thing. Okay. So start small, please. And then once we decide our budget there, we're going to go ahead and click on next. Now, there also is usually an introductory offer that you can get that's going to get you some free ad credits. So if we go back to Google Ads homepage, we see this option here. If we're new to Google Ads, we get up to $1,500 in ad credits. So if we have a code for that, we can do that. We can claim that. Sometimes you can find codes. If I have any codes, I'll put them down below in the description of this video here to hopefully get you some ads credits. They're not always available, but you can tend to find them. We're going to set up our payments profile. You can connect a credit card, a debit card, other forms of payment for that. And then we also have the option for a Google Ads representative to call us and actually help us with running our ads or setting them up if we have questions or concerns with that. So you can say yes. They don't always contact you, but there's a pretty good chance that they will, and just kind of help you out to get things running smoothly. Because remember, even though Google wants you to spend a lot of money, they also want you to be successful with ads, because then they're going to make more money in the long term. So, they do have some incentives there to have us doing well with their platform. So I'm filling in my information here for my payments profile, and then we'll continue. So now that we have entered our payment information in, I'm going to show you around the ads dashboard here. And so we submitted that information. It says our ad is going to go live after it's reviewed. And then we're going to need to connect our website to Google so that we can actually track and measure our conversions. So you can either do this if you have like a website that you're running on WordPress, you can do it easily here, or you can also install manually. Now, I'm just going to click on install manually because I want to take you into the actual ads dashboard. So I do definitely recommend you connect that, but we're just going to continue on to our account here, because I'm going to set that Google tag up later because I want to show you inside of the dashboard here. So here we are. This is going to be where you're running all your ads, you're tracking all your ads, you're seeing how they're converting. This will all pop up and fill out once your ad goes live. Okay, so I want to walk you through a couple of different things here. So first thing we have here is this is the campaign that we just created, right? We can always make new campaigns as well. So if you go to campaigns, you can change this up and you can add new campaigns, right? You can create a new one here. You can go through what we just did. Maybe you have different products and you want to run ads, or even different businesses. You want to run different ads for those businesses. You can do that by creating new campaigns for that. We have our ad groups, right? The type of people that we are going for, the specific ads that we've created. We can make more of them inside of here. We also have the option to run experiments, which is really cool. This is one of the newer things that Google has allowed us to do. And so you can mess around with that as well. So what I recommend is spending a lot of time inside of the dashboard, understanding everything that's going on inside of here. So, here's all the different keywords that we're targeting. And maybe perhaps we want to add a keyword. We can just select that here and put that in. But also over on the left-hand side, we have the tools section. And the tools section, I spent a lot of time in here because we have things like a keyword planner. Okay, so maybe I'm looking for new keywords. I want to find something that is, maybe being searched a lot. We can get search volume and forecasts for all these different things. Okay, so maybe I'm really curious on like marketing agency Philadelphia. And so I can see that it's getting between 1,000 and 10,000 searches per month, has medium competition. The average bid is anywhere between $2.37 up to $9.61. So I was kind of right with I didn't want to go over $5 about for that. But keywords ideas is also a great one. So like if I want to do that and I can get results for that, and it's going to give us all kinds of different ideas that we can try to run an ad for, like creative agency Philadelphia or digital agency Philadelphia. So here's, for example, like Tierney Agency. This is probably a competitor, right? And maybe you want to run ads above your competitor when someone searches in one of your rivals, and you can just pop up as an ad because you are targeting that specific keyword. So I spend a lot of time inside of the keyword planner getting new ideas for keywords that I can be running on, but they're always adding new things here. So like creator partnerships is one of their new things here that they've added in. And if at any point you want to expand from specific like Google search ads, you can do that and run different types of ads as well. You can create a new campaign, and on that one you can decide maybe you want to run ads on YouTube or display ads or Gmail ads. You can do all of that inside of the Google Ads dashboard. So hopefully you found this video to be helpful and valuable. I really hope that I was able to clear up some things and help you to get started with running your first ad. If you have any questions or problems, feel free to reach out to me. You can shoot me a DM on like Instagram or leave some comments down below. I'll try to help you out. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty busy these days, but sometimes someone catches me at a good time and I have extra time on my hands and I can just respond back and help people out. So thanks for watching the video, and I'll see everybody sometime in the future. Best of luck to you.